What up, what up? Happy Webfishing Wednesday, everyone. My first year of college wrapped up, so I just wanted to hop on and talk about it. I think the best way that I want to talk about it is just chronologically, so I'll try to recall everything that happened and, everything of note. In August, I moved in, which was more or less a smooth process. I mean, it was hot as hell in the dorm room, but I got a fan and supportive parents who expedited the entire process. So it was really nice that I could just kind of settle in really quickly and kind of be used to a new space and adjust. I also had this orientation summit thing where we were introduced to the honors college and everyone in honors first year, and that was more or less not really fun for me. It just seemed like I was being pulled around to do a bunch of activities that were not all that useful to me or that I wanted to do. I mean, we did help at the food bank, which was very nice, and I very much enjoyed that. But everything else, like all the other side activities, I think I could have gone without. I mean, yeah, I did get to introduce and meet a few people, which was cool. But I think first impressions and icebreakers are not fun in the slightest. And then I had part 2 of that whenever I had to have orientation with every other person in LMU. So that was also not very great. I wish I could have just chilled. But it's probably good to introduce myself to a few people. And then not long after, we headed into classes. My classes were relatively easy in terms of just the way they're formatted for first years. It's to kind of ease us in. My favorite class of this first semester was my meditation class, which we just meditated and then wrote about what we felt and kind of the emotional states and what we thought during the meditations, which sounds really easy because it is, but it also forced me to do introspection, which I think was very important for me in that first semester. Anyway, September rolls around. About mid-September, I got struck with COVID, which was terrible, and it made my throat so sore, and it felt like razor blades, which was awesome. And I also got quarantined in this little house. It was nice because there was a kitchen. I didn't cook or anything, but it was nice for the most part, barring the fact that it didn't have air conditioning nor fans. So I was at the whim of opening my window and being like, please be cool. And during that time, I actually picked up a new hobby because I was so bored being locked away for a week. So I started drawing, which has stuck with me since then. I've drawn every day for like a couple months now, and that's been really fun. I don't think it's necessarily to accomplish anything, and I don't think it ever needs to be, but I think I just have really fun drawing now, which is something that I've been scared to do for the longest time, but I guess boredom pushed me to actually get my stuff together. After that, October rolls around and I'm in a routine and going to classes, writing, and just kind of the grind is set. I'm kind of having some socializing. Not really. There's not anyone that I felt necessarily close to this first semester. I didn't feel like I could really connect with anyone on a deeper level other than talk about classes sometimes and do this and that. But that was more or less not a problem for me because, one, the meditation class helped me rationalize why I was feeling what I was feeling. But I also was busy enough with school, and then I worked on a bunch of film sets during October, which were really fun, but really tiring. 12-hour work days, which isn't too bad, but it's always variable on when the 12 hours start. So it's really just not good for a sleep schedule. And then in November, I finished up some things. We had kind of like a kind of finals, like midterms, yeah, before Thanksgiving break. So that was, eventful time right before Thanksgiving break. And then I went home for Thanksgiving break, which was really nice. I think I needed a break and wanted to see my friends and family, and it was really nice to see them again. I don't know, but afterwards, it really got to me how much I missed them after I came back to college, because I was like, man, I'm just kind of thugging it out here, which is fine. It was just kind of eye-opening for me. But finishing through December, finished finals, finished strong, and then had winter break, which was good to, have a good Christmas. Merry Christmas. Then returning in the spring, January, we're just back at it again. Very smooth transition back. My favorite class this semester is philosophy. We talked about Du Bois, Beauvoir, Nietzsche, Descartes, and Plato throughout the semester. And I'm familiar with most of them, but it was cool to have, Plato I've never read. I, of course, know of Plato, but I've never read any of his works. So it was really cool having an environment to discuss and talk about Plato and learn about Plato and all the other great philosophers that we read. Throughout January, it was just getting back in the swing of things. And then February, more or less of the same stuff. I just kind of found myself wanting to do my own stuff as well. I started, I picked up the piano again. I mean, again, as in, it's been years since, I had to because my mom made me as a child. But now I want to do it just personally. So my mom bought me a keyboard, and I started practicing in my room. I wear headphones. It's no problem. But it was very nice just having another kind of hobby and having something to pursue. Because unlike drawing, yes, drawing, I am trying to get better in some senses, but that's more just kind of decompressing and just doodling. But with piano, I actually have a tangible goal of becoming better and being able to play certain songs, which is, I think, healthy for me. And then March was weird because I had 2 breaks, technically. I had, at the beginning, my spring break, which was awesome. I went to the beach, but I did have midterms right after that break, so I ended up spending a lot of time studying, and that meant that break wasn't as good for me. But it was still fun hanging out with my family and having time away from school. And then come back throughout the 2 other weeks of March, just locked in, kind of grinding away. I was in an opera that my school put on. I was just in the back, little supporting choir person. But it was cool being in costume again. I think it made me realize that I miss performing in some capacity, but I don't think I'll really have an opportunity to pursue it beyond just doing whatever the choir puts me in, which is fine for me. I think I have a space to perform, which is good enough for me. I had my second break at the end of March, which was Easter break, which was nice because I got to go home and I got to see my beautiful baby dog, who's 1 year old now. That was really nice. I got to see a few of my friends. And then back in April, just grind time. Mainly, the thing that occupied my time was one of my film classes. I had to direct a short film, or short scene, not a short film. But that short scene took a lot of work, and then I had to write for a screenwriting separate class script that took a lot of effort and a lot of contemplation, which is really good, but it took a lot out of me for April. May, we're in it. We finished out strong again. Move out was kind of less fun. Less fun in the sense that I had my last final at 8 a.m. and then I had to move out like right after that. So it was just, oh, you got done with 3 hours of writing? Let's go! Let's leave! I mean, I appreciated that was a quick turnaround, but man, was it a quick turnaround. I think overall, that was my year. I don't think that it was the best or the worst year. It was a year. I mean, it felt like what a first year should be. It felt like growing pains, and it felt like a bunch of different things were happening that I had to adjust to, but it never felt overwhelming in the sense that I couldn't handle it. It felt everything was at least manageable, and I think I can appreciate that for having a first year in college. Especially in the second semester, I felt everything calmed down. I think in the first semester I was a little more kind of freaked out at everything and kind of trying to make my way through. But second semester, I got solid friends, and then I got just good time to myself, and I got a good routine. But I think overall, it was a good first year. That does bring me to the topic of wanting to continue academia, though. I've been thinking recently, because of my philosophy class, just how much I need academia to continue what I want to do. I think it is extremely helpful for kind of gaining connections in the film world and kind of learning the basic skills. But I think I can largely do a lot of the learning. Like, you can learn essentially anything. Either I can go to community college and just do the film classes specifically, or I can just go and learn everything online. This is just hearsay because I'm not doing it, so I don't know. But there's like this worm at the back of my brain being like, do you need to be here? Because I think in large part, being in there and doing this routine feels like a lot of the time I'm moving slower than I could be. Which is not bad, because I think if I wasn't kind of at a certain pace, I would definitely burn myself out. So I think it is probably healthier anyway. But just the thought that it's just like I could teach myself, and it's like with philosophy, I just like can read a lot. A lot of the class was reading, and I was just like, I can read by myself and think about this, and I have luckily really great friends and family that I can also discuss this with, so it's not just going into the ether and not being used. But I'm not really sure kind of what I want to learn and push myself to do in academia. There's also the other benefits of kind of the, like I said, the connections, yes, in the film world, but also just friendships in college. I think this year more than anything, taught me that I'm not really good at making new friends, which is fine. I think that I am probably more introverted for my own good. I think I should have just been more open about who I am, but it's hard, kind of be yourself and whatnot. But it's just like I guess I am being a part of myself when I'm being quiet and just staring at everyone, and not really opening up. But it's really hard to make friends that way. I mean, that's why in the second semester, after I got more comfortable, I felt better about making friends and being comfortable with interacting with people in general. I think that that's kind of where I am with college in terms of what value it brings to me, because I don't think that I necessarily need to learn through college specifically. I am a big supporter of just learning to learn, but I also understand that that doesn't have to be in this setting. I do understand that I also have extremely privileged resources that I should be, and I am thankful for, that I have in terms of teachers and, the film equipment that we get, which is really nice. But the point still stands that for my broader goals, I'm not sure how much I actually need the setting. What the setting actually provides for me more so is just character development, I guess. It's more me learning to navigate the world and live a little outside the bubble, which is weird for LMU specifically, I think, because I come from a private school in Oklahoma that was very much a bubble and did not really introduce me to the grander world, so to speak. And LMU is kind of similar, but also that's my own doing. I mean, LMU is literally situated on a hill, so there's not really, interacting with the outside world, so to speak, since I didn't have my car. But I think college kind of necessitates you to interact with the world at large, or larger than you have before, because I think it introduces you to a whole new group of people. So I think that's where the value of college is the meeting new people and kind of being forced to interact, because otherwise I think I'd be in my room all day and not doing much anyway. I'd be doing just I'd be playing video games and reading, which is awesome for me, but probably healthier if I leave my room every so often. I think that is all I have to say about this. See you later!